After his mother died, my great-grandfather emigrated to Nauvoo, where he crosses paths once again with one of the Pratt brothers. William Somerville, was a big strapling guy, and I think probably a very gregarious guy. He almost immediately becomes a close confidant of the prophet and is one of those that was numbered among the prophet's personal bodyguards. When the saints, after the prophet's death, and when the saints were driven out, he was called back, even though he was suffering from fever at the time, to help in the defense of Nauvoo, and was involved in what's called the Battle of Nauvoo. Now, to appreciate what's taking place there, we generally have in mind the idea that it was a mob that drove the saints out of Nauvoo. It was an army. It was a mob army. It was led by a Campbellite minister who was angry with Joseph Smith and the truths that he taught. It was really a religious war. In any event, my grandfather was put in charge of 10 men, and apparently one of the 10 men that was there at his side was Anson Pratt. They found down by the banks of the Mississippi some old shafts from a steamboat, and they took them and divided them into sections and made them into cannons to help them in the defense of the city. When they got these cannons made, they made 5 cannons out of these steamboat shafts. People were really quite concerned that when they tried to use them, that they would blow up and kill everybody that was around them. But my grandfather Somerville said, "Well, I'll take some of them with me if I do." They made these little bags of nails and things that they were using, kind of the shrapnel that they would use that they would load in the cannons. In any event, in September, really from the 10th of September to about the 15th of September, these men with their little brigade that they called themselves the smuggling mall. Where the name comes and why, I don't know, but they had that name, and they played an instrumental part in keeping this mob army as it marched down the Carthage Road toward Nauvoo. They started their defense on, interestingly enough, Pratt Street, and then moved their cannons around and strategically used these cannons to keep this mob army at bay, to allow the last of the faithful saints there, the people that were poor enough that they didn't have wagons to get themselves out or other means to load what they had or to escape with, to get out of Nauvoo. They held the peace with the mob, held the mob at bay for long enough for the last of the saints to leave. They crossed the Mississippi, and then in their impoverished condition, you'll remember that's where the story of the quail took place, where the Lord sent the quail in to feed them. But it was just special to see how one of my grandfather's experience consistently seemed to crisscross with that of the Pratt family.